thinking about the good things to come.
Welcome to the Bodhi Lotus Radio Show. This is Chris Tinney broadcasting from KDWN, Las Vegas, Nevada, 50,000 watts of power reaching over the western United States. Welcome. And my good friend, the Yogi Zen Dude, by my side, bringing you positive and uplifting news every Sunday at 7 p.m. So make sure you mark this time down on your calendar, set the preset on your radio station if you haven't already have our station on your radio so you don't miss these shows. And Greg, what a incredible week we've had.
Oh man, it keeps getting better and better.
You know, last week we had the whole Syrian war crisis. We took callers, and I was amazed. Calls coming in from California, San Diego, Monterey, Reno, Utah. What a reach and what a pleasure it is to be at our new flagship station, KDWN, here in Las Vegas. And gosh, in a week, we found a diplomatic solution to the war. And so Greg and I can get back to the positive, uplifting news that we like to talk about here with you each week. Guys, hey, we want to give you a couple of links here. This show is not just about this 1 hour. This show is about giving you a boost. It's like, think of it as a booster shot that you get once a week, like your B12, to help you get through the week, because there are a lot of positive, uplifting things happening out there. You just have to be aware. And make sure you surround yourself with positive and uplifting things. So when we moved out to Las Vegas here to do this show, Taish and I were out in Florida, and the Yogi Zen Dude and us were all broadcasting out there on a radio show, a network of radio stations. And we came out and people said, Las Vegas, you know, what kind of spiritual community is that? And I'm telling you, we have just been blown away with the people that we've been meeting, the guests, the incredible guests that we've had on the show.
Loving it.
The support that we've gotten from you, our listeners. Thank you to all of you that are going to our website. Spreadpeace.org is our nonprofit. I hope you go there, sign up for our newsletter. You'll find lots of things that you can do that don't take any money. They don't take a car. It just takes you. You just got to do something. So check out spreadpeace.org. We just redid the whole website. We're coming up with campaigns that you can help run in social media. And I appreciate everybody who's signing up for that newsletter and sharing it on their wall. And you can also go to bodhilotus.org. That's our online community where the conversation never stops. Bodhilotus.org is Bodhi like the Bodhi tree, Bodhi, lotus like the lotus flower, LOTUS.org. And Greg, you've lots of posts on sustainable living, permaculture, and all sorts of great things that are happening.
Yeah, raw vegan, spiritual quotes. Yeah.
Awesome. He's telling him to get closer to the mic there. Yeah, it's a new setup here, Greg.
I can hear myself.
So thank you to all of you. And not only did we see a diplomatic potential, I'm not even going to get into that, but at least we saw a pause in the Syrian war crisis because diplomats and politicians at least decided to try and do something about that. You know what my friend Barry says that politics stands for?
What's that?
He said poly means many, and ticks, a blood-sucking insect. So that's what politics means. But we also saw another breakthrough with our politicians. And this one I am excited about. This one is their ability to finally get off their butts and do something about industrial hemp.
Yeah.
Now, let me lay this out for you, folks. And we're going to have the king of pot on here, even though hemp and pot, two different things.
Often confused.
If you smoke hemp, you're just going to get a headache and look really stupid. Two different things. We have Bruce Perlowin. He's the CEO of Hemp Inc., the first publicly traded company focused on bringing industrial hemp to America. I mean, us as consumers. And I'm really excited about that. I'm proud to be a shareholder, and I'm one of the many, many nonprofits that he's donated to. That's how I became aware of him and his company and what he's doing. So we have him on as well. Dannion Brinkley told me he was going to be calling in too. He's a local here in Las Vegas. I've had the blessing to meet him. He's the author of Saved by the Light, 32nd most selling book on the planet in the history of the world. Saved by the Light. His new book's coming out, 10 Things You Need to Know Before You Go. I'm really excited about that. So, hey, Greg, we're going to dig into a couple of news items here that I want to share with everybody. Then we're going to take a break, and then we'll be coming back with Bruce Perlowin, the CEO of Hemp Inc., and talk to him about everything he's doing with his intentional community, about an hour outside of Vegas here. We'll ask him about a new lettuce making machine that he got. Makes 100 heads of lettuce a day.
That's super cool. Yeah, and you can do kale and other things too.
So hey, let's dig in, folks, because you need to call your congressman. This is a show about taking action. This isn't about sitting on the couch eating potato chips and listening. Grab a pen. Get online. Do something. Use this hour per day. Now, if you're in your car, let's use reasonable care. I don't have an attorney on staff. So use reasonable care. But I am so excited because we have, it's just been amazing what's happened with the Farm Bill. Some of our congressmen got together. They made an amendment to it to legalize industrial hemp production here in the United States. Now, if you don't understand how important this is huge. America is the number one importer of hemp. We use more hemp than any other country on the planet. And yet we are the only industrialized country that does not allow our own farmers to grow hemp.
That's government intelligence for us. Again.
That's exactly what it is. It's the stupidity. And hey guys, I don't throw around words like stupid. That's not what this show's about. But when you don't take the time to research something that's important enough that can change the planet in the ways that hemp can, then I got to call you something. I'm sorry, but I do.
We got to pull down the blind and just say, what if hemp is something just totally wonderful?
Yeah, well, what's going on is 9 states, Greg, are now supporting this amendment, and they're telling the legislators to get rid of the federal barriers because all these states, you've heard about all these different, Kentucky just legalized. So all the states have gotten together and put some pressure on Congress and said, look, we don't want to be in the same situation that medical marijuana is where because we're doing it. We're going to let our farmers grow hemp. 30,000 consumer goods can be made from hemp. Henry Ford made his first car out of hemp.
I heard if we were going to move to another planet and could only take one plant with us, it should be industrial hemp because we make nearly everything out of it, plus our own food too.
Yeah, well, and that is also, Greg, brings up something else that I was really excited about to see, because what's going on is because of these changes in the law, customers, the Hemp Association says that 2012 sales of hemp products hit $500 million.
Awesome.
$500 million. They said Whole Foods is added over, between Whole Foods and 2 other retailers, that was $156 million of it. And what's happening here is they're forecasting, let me see if I can find this here. This is just amazing. They're forecasting that 2013, the floodgates are going to open because consumers are demanding hemp body care products. They're demanding hemp nutritional products. Nutritional was one of the top ones they said were going to explode as people start to learn the advantages of the omegas and the proteins that come from hemp.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody that's been sharing about industrial hemp with their friends and family.
Yeah, as a vegan, when people say, where do you get your hemp? Where do you get your protein as a vegan? I say, hemp. It has more protein than a steak.
Amen.
It's for real. And the other thing I'm really excited about, I went over Bruce Perlowin, the CEO of hemp.com, Hemp Inc. Hemp.com is also their website, and I was Googling around. And on their website, I found a very interesting story about hemp fabric. That hemp fabric stops the spread of staph infection, that it's how do I say that?
Just spit it out. No, they'll know.
It's
antimicrobial or cryobial.
And they're talking about how all these studies are showing that hospitals, that's one of the booms that they're talking about is going to happen as it gets applied to hospitals and other places where they need sheets and scrubs, whether you're wearing gloves or your coat, even your gym bag. You want to make sure your gym bag is made out of hemp because it'll get rid of the things that can grow. I know my gym bag has a lot of things growing in it. All right, guys, we're going to be back, and we're going to talk to the CEO of hemp.com, also the subject of the #1 most watched CNBC special of all time called Medical Marijuana, Inc., and the CEO of hemp.com, Bruce Perlowin, the king of pot, right after this break.
Don't give up the fight. Preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth.
And we're back. The Bodhi Lotus radio show, bodhilotus.org. Chris Tinney here with my sidekick, the Yogi Zen Dude, taking
Peace, love, and
calls
light
from all over the western United States here, 702 area code 257-5396. That's area code 702-257-5396. Call in. Were you aware of the over 50,000 uses that the hemp plant provides us, from textiles to consumer goods to nutritional products? I want to know your opinion. Are you for the legalization of industrial hemp? Or do you think it's a slippery slope to the legalization of other things? I heard that the other day from somebody. We want to hear your opinion. And while we're waiting for you to call, we're going to be talking to the CEO of Hemp Inc., Bruce Perlowin. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me on.
Well, I am so excited. It seems like the last 2 weeks has just been a gold rush of information to both consumers and investors and people that follow politics. And it just, this massive tide has been released. What's your take on what's been happening?
Well, there's only so many hundreds of millions of dollars of hemp products that the United States can consume. We're up to $500 million, as you said, $500 million that we import from other countries before the United States makes it legal. I'll give you a good example. I was talking to the people who are connected with the farmer in Colorado that is growing hemp. The harvest is in about 2 weeks. I told them, I said, look, I cannot buy those hemp seeds. I cannot buy your hemp stalk to make fabrics or building materials, hempcrete and paramagnetic hemp cement. I can't buy it because it's federally illegal. And if I bring it to Las Vegas or Nevada, I just violate a federal law. So what I'm forced to do as a big hemp manufacturer? Grow over 100 acres in China and to pay the Chinese farmers and bring it into America. I have to import it from Romania. I have to import it from Canada instead of paying our own farmer and our own farmers. And so I can't buy the product. I said what I would like to do, though, as a public company, I would like to video just like we video the planting of that hemp crop, I like to video the harvesting and one guy once said they're going to press it into oil, and I would like to video that and document it for education. But it gets a little bit absurd. So there's only so much that we could sell. And the consumer is the one that's driving the legalization of hemp. When you buy any hemp product, whether it's the hemp shoes from Adidas or whether it's hemp products from us or whether it's hemp seeds in Whole Foods or any health food store in America, the cosmetics, the nutritionals, you are supporting the push and the drive to make hemp legal in this country.
Wow. And Bruce, I was at the NIH website today, the Hemp Industries Association, and they're talking about how it's going to explode in this next 12 months. They're talking about, 40, 50% gains, 500 million. And I'm scanning it while I'm sitting here. It's just blowing me away. And they said that it's you're right, Bruce. I mean, that's what they're saying, that, Whole Foods Market, they start carrying hemp and consumers want hemp. And, I wish it was because they were spiritually conscious, but it's really their pocketbooks are turning them around on this issue.
Yeah, then, politics is driven by economics. So when the economics change, the political realities change. We're, like our company is the first all-industrial hemp product. We focus strictly on hemp. Well, some other products, but mostly on hemp. And, our products are off the chart, unbelievable. We were just looking at some fabric the other day in the office that's 15% rayon and 85% hemp, because studies showed that kills MRSA. What is MRSA? Everybody heard of staph and everybody dying of staph infections inside of hospitals. Well, staph is now mutated to a disease called MRSA, and there is no antibiotics that can cure it. Rayon, 15%, 85%, maybe a different mixture. It could be maybe it's 100% hemp that kills it, but we don't know. We just know what the studies say. But 85% blend, and these sheets, the material for these sheets were unbelievably soft. I ordered some for my house, because they're so great.
Yeah, this is
awesome. We ordered the material to make it.
Yeah, and at ecoharmonycoop.com, you have a lot of your products listed. It's awesome. You've invited other people to sell their sustainable products there as well, and that we can all work together to help these artisans and formulators bring these products that, frankly, if you didn't provide them that platform through the Eco Harmony Co-op, they wouldn't have a place to sell their items. And it's providing people a way to get the word out on these products and live on everything from intentional communities to Ken's domains. So I want to talk real quick. I'm going to finish up on the company, and then I want to get to what you're doing out here with your intentional community, and your philanthropic giving is unparalleled. I don't know anybody who's given away as much wealth as you have in just the last 2 years. As you've rode this wave of hemp with this publicly traded company, you've made sure that all the nonprofits share in that. And that's what makes me feel really good about making my purchases from hemp.com and from Hemp Inc. And frankly, after you made a donation, I've been buying. I even went out and bought some stock. But so tell me what's the philosophy of your company, and why did you do so much for all these nonprofits by making them stakeholders in the success of Hemp Inc. And I like that because as consumers, we know that when we buy a product from your company, that we're in turn helping Keepers of the Wild build a new animal sanctuary, and we're helping spreadpeace.org feed the homeless, and we're helping Patch Adams build a hospital. So maybe you can talk about that for just a minute.
Well, it's, cause commerce has been around for a long time. And, the studies say that 78% of the consumers will switch loyalty from one company to another company if the second company is giving back. All right, that's just the realities of the social conscious purchaser today, or maybe it was because of the 60s and we're all grown up and big consumers now, but we still want to change the world and help and give back as much as we can. It was part of our culture. Well, I have applied that to stock purchases. I've donated to the Twilight Brigade, Dannion Brinkley, that no veteran shall die alone. 20,000 veterans died holding hands with his hospice leaders. The other companies that you just mentioned, Can Do Kids, the horse rescue place out in Dolan Springs. And the concept is this. Once people become aware that they can buy stock in the company that's giving back, right, and one of the mechanisms of the marketplace that makes stock go up is that there's more buyers and sellers. So if everybody out there buys stock in Hemp Inc. and they hold it, and that catches on, and they buy and they hold and buy and they hold, they buy and they hold, right, until it will drive the stock up. That's just the mechanism of the marketplace. Just like when you buy your hemp products, that will change the political realities because you're changing the underlying economic realities. It's the same thing here. No one has ever applied that to stock companies, public companies. And if enough people do that, now I donate my personal stock because public companies aren't supposed to support nonprofits. They're supposed to make only a profit, not help change the world, not help people on the planet. Okay? So I gave my personal stock. If that reality kicks in, and when that reality kicks in, and you got all these people buying and holding because they support a company that gives back, and the stock does go through the roof, how about that? You can make money by supporting Patch Adams and supporting the Twilight Brigade. That's a really cool thing. But it also will set a trend where other public companies will then say, hey, you make more money, the stock goes up if we donate to nonprofits, and they'll donate company stock, and it won't have to be somebody's personal stock. I'm setting a bar. I'm raising the bar and giving back.
That is awesome, and we appreciate that because you're showing people a way that they can make a difference. Both with their investments and their consumer purchases, and you're you're just blowing people away that come in contact with you that want to come out to your property that we're going to talk about in just a minute. If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Bruce Perlowin, the CEO of Hemp Inc., the first all publicly traded company focused on bringing industrial hemp to the consumers and the various 30,000 different consumer products that it can make, as well as making a difference in the world through its KINS domains. On the line, we have the author of Saved by the Light, Dannion Brinkley. He's a local here in Las Vegas, and we've been really blessed to get to know him both on this radio show, and I know Bruce at Hemp Inc. because Bruce made a donation of stock to the Twilight Brigade, his nonprofit. Dannion's, as I mentioned, the author of Saved by the Light, has a new book coming out called 10 Things You Need to Know Before You Go. Dannion, thank you so much for calling in today.
Well, Chris, but thank you for having me. It's anybody who's ever read Saved by the Light, which was my first book like 9 million years ago, it talked about spiritualistic capitalism was one of the founding things that was going to change and revolutionize these 13 beings of light. And so what Bruce is doing, I call spiritualistic capitalism. He's giving you a reason to make a difference. And I was listening to what you and Gary were talking about, and when you start to really look at where we are, this is the opportunity to create a revolution and the 30,000 products. I've been over to Hemp Inc. I've got to know all the participants, because when someone makes the kind of donation and support like Bruce has, and all of the people that are involved become to help me with the idea of raising the concept of no vet need die alone, you begin to see that spiritualistic capitalism is coming into play exactly like they said it would, those beings of light said it would. And so for me, it's exciting. And it was like what you said and what Bruce just said. What in the heck is wrong with people when our mom and pop farmers, our veterans coming home from war who come back to their parents' farm, and they cannot grow a product that is nutritional, that can make so many different kinds of sustainable products and can be used in thousands and tens of thousands of products. It's stupid. I saw where Missouri just passed the same law. And I started to look at hemp. I started to look at this as a mindset, and I'm asking everybody, you know, if you have a spiritual place, or I don't like to say just want to make money, because if you listen, everybody's going to make money who's smart enough to enter this particular area of growth. But if you have a spiritual place in you, a place where you know, like what Bruce has donated, and how I came to know Bruce is probably 15 years ago, when veterans had to pay for their own meal if they were in a hospital. If they were in a hospital, they had to pay for their own meal, and they couldn't call any family members. They just couldn't call because they couldn't dial out on the phone. And what happened was, I began a war with a lot of other people that forced the government to pay for a hospitalized veteran's meal. But what was happening is when you get to end of life, I have 30,000 hours at the bedside. I know what works and what doesn't work. And when you get to that part of your life that you can't call a child or an ex-wife or someone that you want to have to try to bring closure, it's a tough place. So I was paying for calls and paying for calls. I met Bruce. Bruce donated $5 20-minute calls. And in the course of that donation and the relationship is I've developed with Bruce as not only a friend but a spiritual entrepreneur. He has the same kind of heartfelt driven consciousness that comes with people who do this kind of work, the same as what you're doing. And I got to sit down and I got to listen to guys have the last conversations with their children, last conversations. A lot of them were apologetic and asking for forgiveness and just talking through what it takes, like we all know when we're losing someone, to have closure. But Chris, I'll tell you something else. I had a chance to sit and listen to guys cuss out someone. I've been waiting 30 years to call and tell you, you low down good for nothing, and you can add the rest of the words. I had one guy cuss another guy. I think he stole his wife while he was in service, cuss him for all he was worth, put the phone down, smile, put his hands behind his head, take his last breath, and let go. Well, I knew that Bruce was a friend of mine from then on, and then when he called me up one day and he says, look, I'm going to build this company. What do you think about hemp? And I thought it was marijuana, which I don't care what people do. It's none of my business. I think that the drug laws are unconstitutional. When you look at controlled substance laws, there's nothing in the Constitution that says what you do to yourself is anywhere unconstitutional. It's one of the founding freedoms. But when he started explaining hemp to me, and I started looking at what hemp was and looking at where Henry Ford and who used this product and how petrochemicals began to replace what hemp was used for. But the other thing, for we who live in the desert, there is no finer lotion that you can have than hemp oil-based lotions, because my wife, Catherine, buys it, and I can tell that my skin doesn't look like alligator skin because I use it.
Hey, Daniel, can you stay through the break with us?
Sure.
All right, guys, so you're listening to the Bodhi Lotus radio show on 720 AM KDW in Las Vegas. We're with the author of Saved by the Light and the upcoming bestseller, 10 Things You Need to Know Before You Go, and the CEO of Hemp Inc., the first publicly traded company focused on bringing consumers hemp products. We'll be back after this break.
Nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's easy.
Welcome back to the Bodhi Lotus Radio Show. We're talking to Dannion Brinkley, the author of Saved by the Light, the 32nd most selling book on the planet of all time. Awesome read that I'm rereading. My wife is rereading. We're all rereading it. Amazing author, and everyone's excited about his new book coming out, 10 Things You Need to Know Before You Go. And we have on the line Bruce Perlowin, the CEO of Hemp Inc. Bruce, say hi to Dannion.
Hey, Dannion, how you doing? Great to hear your voice.
Just hearing your voice makes me happy and joyous, and thank you for being a fabulous spiritualistic capitalist, a really good friend, and someone who is just not full of crap. I mean, who really gets out and tries to do what he really believes in. And, Chris, I'd like to make sure you tell T something. Of the 9 dogs that my kids, Elizabeth and Shane and Angel and Adriana, took in, they have placed 8 of those now pets in homes, and I think that Catherine is forcing us to take one of them. So I mean, I don't have much say in that, but what I like about the people who've aired the spot that I heard during the break, we have to be careful and we have to be focused, because they were going to take this mother and her puppies and put them to sleep. They were going to euthanize these puppies, and my kids jumped and took them in. I don't think it's any inspiration from my side that got them to do it, but nonetheless, they did it, and they bottle fed them, and they got them from little tiny nothings to 7 weeks of taking care of them and found homes for them. So one more time, when you and your wife started this, we reached out, we did that, and that's another report. But the other thing that I'm trying to get across in this is when you start to really look at where everybody's going with marijuana, and we're legalizing marijuana, and people can smoke it, and the next thing will come is what is the level of marijuana consumption in driving. And I listened today to the local news, our local PBS station, about some hardcore guy talking about marijuana who's probably mindset's in the 70s. This is all going to change, just like you said, the nutritional value, the emollient value, the antimicrobial value of what Bruce was just talking about with the combination of hemp. We all know. And another thing that, Chris, I'd like for you to do, if people would call in, we found another product that's mixed with hemp, and it's for psoriasis.
Wow.
And I know what psoriasis is to people who have it. So I would like to ask you to get, if you get people who call in or people who email, we need 9 people to become a part of a program of a all-natural product with a little hemp in it, to be subjects to test this psoriasis combination to help reduce psoriasis. I don't want to get in trouble with the FDA, but I'm sure it's just this is another product line that in the course of looking and being supportive that we found. So the first 9 people, it's going to be a program that's designed by Hemp Inc. to do a study on people with severe psoriasis, and so it fits right in with the antimicrobial. And I just appreciate what I see happening. I appreciate the power of the spiritual community of Nevada, and especially here in the Valley, the deep spiritual commitment and the amazing people. People don't understand the Valley of Fire and Red Rock and Zion and what Bruce is doing out on just outside of Vegas in the Kins domains, and I'm really pleased. I think Catherine and I are writing the new book, 10 Things to Know Before You Go, because we realize that most people are all paying attention to what's next instead of really focusing on what's now. And I think that Bruce and the team that he's assembled and the people who are working so very hard to separate the consciousness of marijuana to the empowered use of what hemp and the products that it can provide at a lesser price if it's grown here. And so I'm always pleased for people. It's not what's next, it's what's now, and what's now is people getting behind what Bruce is doing, getting invested emotionally, getting invested physically by getting out and talking, and getting invested in the products and services. And if you have some extra money, I know it's a penny stock. If you have extra money to make your voice heard, invest in this company and buy those products, because I'm doing it. I'm helping veterans because of Bruce and the people around. I'm helping push this drive to bring home a product that I believe will put mom and pop businesses back on the map, make us all healthy, smarter, and like I have said in Saved by the Light, one of the visions that was given me is that spiritualistic capitalism, that it's not all about making money. It's all about the compassionate, conscious effort to bring us all together and make us healthier and a greater nation.
You know, that's a great point, Dannion, that you know, we can be an owner in this company. I love their stock symbol, too. It's HEMP. What a cool symbol. I mean, when you go to buy it, it's HEMP. Hemp is their stock symbol. And as he mentioned, it's a very inexpensive stock. You know, but since we're talking about that, Bruce, what does the opportunity look for? Let's talk about this conscious abundance that we want to create. What is the opportunity for Hemp Inc. as a company and us as potential investors?
Well, I'm not allowed to make projections into the future, but I can tell you what I did in the past, okay? And then you can extrapolate what's about to happen or what could happen. I took the first publicly traded company in this sector, the marijuana and hemp companies, public. That was about 5 years ago, and now there's 26 of them in that sector. We went from 4 cents to 58 cents in less than 5 months, with a 10-to-1 forward split. We had a runaway stock. The stock went wild, so we had to do 10-to-1 forward split. So what that means to the layman is it really went from 4 cents to $5.80. To me, that was a normal growth curve. It was the first time that, because I just always moved companies into momentum. I never was in the public sector. I didn't know how abnormal that was. That was 5 years ago when I knew nothing about public companies. I know a lot about public companies and what makes a stock go up. And up until the beginning of this year, we were a developmental stage company. You heard Dannion say we're testing a product with psoriasis and hemp. Well, we've been testing in university hospitals in China on certain products. We've been doing a lot of formulating on our hemp protein, getting the right blend of hemp, spirulina, AFA, cordyceps, and rhodiola rosea. So now, in the beginning of this year, the first quarter, we went to the marketplace. We did about $475,000 the first quarter. We did over $500,000 the second quarter. We haven't even begun to make our move into the marketplace. I'm renting a 10,000 square foot warehouse on the first to do our shipping. Why would I rent a 10,000 square foot warehouse to do shipping? Do I know something maybe is about to happen? You know, I can't.
Or I'm going to stop you before you get in trouble there. You know, one of the things that they're talking about in their market research, Bruce, is that we haven't even seen the beginning of the types of products and
right.
opportunities for a company to get into, from body care to. I'm just reading right here from the Hemp Institute, a nonprofit that did this study. And it said that they think their numbers are way, way low because a lot of people are already using hemp because they know it's good, and suntan lotion and sunscreen and hemp oil. And a lot of times they're not taking the time to report it to the association, so they have to extrapolate the numbers. So there's a lot of people that are in the know that are using it because they know what it does. And there's many, many products that your company could look at bringing to market.
Yeah, I'll give you one. Industrial hemp for industry use. We use Hemp Shield. And the hemp shield works. It's a wood preservative. In all of our kin's domain, we have a lot of natural wood, and we coat it with the hemp shield. And that is because the hemp molecule is way smaller than other wood preservatives, and it penetrates the wood much deeper, so it lasts at least twice as long as normal wood preservatives. And that's the same reason the cosmetics work so well with hemp, because the molecule penetrates the skin because it's such a small molecule, and it's loaded with nutrients, by the way. So when they say 50,000 products that can be made of industrial hemp, I always say 75,000 because there's so many products that nobody ever thought of. A hemp candle, people thought about that. But what about a hemp candle with a gemstone inside, which is one of the products we make on our Kind's Domain, also doubles that as a fundraiser for Patch Adams. So
let me bring this point up, guys. Let me bring this point up. And this is Bruce and you, Chris, you and Gary, you guys know that this is one big issue about mine. When you look at industrial hemp, it's just a weed. And if you look at how many paper cups and paper plates and paper that we have, this is a conversation I'd had with Bruce. If you, in order to make pulp, which is what you make paper out of, and paper plates and paper cups, if you had 5 acres of trees, it would take you 5 acres, and it would take you 20 years to produce X amount of pulp for paper. You can take 1 acre and grow hemp on it, and you can produce the same amount of pulp necessary to make paper, paper cups, and paper plates on 1 acre, and you can do it every 90 days. Now, when you look at where we get so much of our oxygen from, we get so much of our oxygen from the Amazon rainforest, and we are cutting down trees to build houses, and where Bruce is looking at now, there's steel, there's some plastics. We're cutting down so much timber. If you were a moron or not as intelligent as like myself, which is not very intelligent, which would you rather do? Would you take 20 years and 5 acres of trees and cutting them down, or would you take a weed on 1 acre and harvest it every 90 days? And that we drive the industry toward producing our paper, to produce our plates and our paper cups out of hemp. The reduction in the cost and the increase in oxygen on the planet, I can't understand why that one simple perspective has not driven people to force their congressmen. And one thing I like about what Bruce is doing and the way the team is laying out, they're building that new site. I was looking at the setup of the site to literally make it a political action, where people can get information, they can get talking points, they can buy products, and they can invest in stock so that their voice is really heard and moving forward. And I'll tell you something. I would rather breathe more oxygen and make paper out of make paper out of hemp and breathe more oxygen. And that's the bottom line on a planet that's being devastated. Look at the fires. Look at what's happening. I think that, like Bruce said, and what you were saying, Chris, we're going to be driven economically, and then, like Bruce said, politically, into this arena. What I like about your show and what you and G are doing and how you are developing this show is a spiritual slant. Good news, not bad news. Things that the spiritual side of our human existence can come and listen to every Sunday afternoon and participate. But remember, Chris, we need those 9 people with severe psoriasis for this study.
Yeah, and I'll tell everybody out there that you definitely want to get a hold of us. You can go to hemp.com, but if you want to email me directly, feel free to email me, Chris, CHRIS, at spreadpeace.com. Like
it costs you no money.
And I'll get you in that study because I've heard the rumblings of what they're setting out to prove here, and what an amazing product this company is going to have. I also know on the Eco Harmony Co-op, they sell the stem cell blend that Hemp Inc. produces, which has clinical studies that will show that I guess legally I can tell you right now it stimulates your stem cells. But we have clinical studies that are almost finishing up that are going to be able to prove many more things that we've all known and felt, since we've been taking the product. That's ecoharmonycoop.com. And Bruce, I know you're looking for 8 or 9 people to be interns and come stay for 28 days out on your intentional community. They're going to work their butts off. They're going to learn how to 28 different kinds of fruits and 10 different kinds of nuts and jamming and preserves, and learn how to homestead and do everything right there on the land. That sounds like an exciting project as well.
Very cool.
Yeah, it really is very, very cool, because not only are we going to teach people all about permaculture and how to become organic gardeners and how to build their own Kim's domain and survive, but we also teach them how to make products made of hemp. Hemp candles, hemp jewelry, hemp macrame, hemp hammocks. I mean, in one Kim's domain in Florida, they're making hemp yoga.
Maybe evolve into a manufacturing facility for hemp clothes. And what I'm really hoping for, Bruce, is a place where veterans can come, because I know you made that a big part, and that, think about it, veterans could set up a small manufacturing plant and make the scrubs that could help stop the migration of staff in VA hospitals.
Wow.
Drive this so that the sheets, and so that when you want to know how staff is moving, where in my particular area, because I'm in probably 11 VA hospitals where whole wards, whole floors are being quarantined. It's got to be moved on the clothes of the nurses and the doctors and the orderlies and the people who are cleaning. You know, look at scrubs and look at what could happen if veterans could grow it, veterans could manufacture it, and the VA could purchase it. Right now, VA does Buy American, and we can't grow and manufacture products that stops the spread of staph infection and MRSA in VAs. We have to buy it from China, and they haven't even caught on to this, although, like Chris said, the NIH is. This is a revolution. I didn't know about this or gave a heck about it until you came along, Bruce, and then I met Chris, who is as innovative in him caring about creating a hemp product, and Gary, that's creating a hemp product to feed the homeless. And you know, in Nevada, we have an extreme amount of homelessness, and people don't realize how many veterans. The veteran is 9% of the population of the United States, but they represent 44% of the homeless. And when you stepped up to the plate with your issues, Bruce, if you're a veteran out there and you want to get behind something that's really going to make a difference, it's not about being illegal. It's about making something legal, and it's about making it where it benefits, supports, and empowers the Buy America, Grow America, Made in America, put veterans to work, put mom and pop farms and family farms back to work, and create these Kim's domains of what you're doing. There is no better place to come than with what Hemp is doing and what Bruce is doing, and to listen to the show that Chris and Gary have on every Sunday night here. I am proud to participate. I'm proud to be a part of supporting you, and I'm proud that you represent a deep spiritual factor that I think godless capitalism has led us into a collapsing nation, and this is one small part of how our great nation can dig itself out of the hole that we've been pushed into by companies controlling what is really a natural way to bring about an industrial revolution. So I'd like to say thanks to both of you, and I'd like to say thanks to 720 for caring enough, and the sponsors of these shows. I mean, everybody, if you listen to a commercial break, please, if you see something, do business with the people who support this program and this show.
Absolutely. And thank you, Hemp Inc., for being one of the major sponsors of this show before they even knew that we were going to ask them to be on it. It's just amazing, Dannion. And I agree with you, Dannion. This is a movement. When you get involved in hemp, you're taking a stand in the world. When you wear hemp products, you're letting your friends and people know that you're taking a stand for our environment, that you're helping put our farmers back to work. Having spent 3.5 years on the streets every day with my wife feeding the homeless, I saw those statistics. Those statistics aren't just names to me. They're not just statistics. I have over 30 people in just 1 year died that I actually met on the streets. That's 4 of them every day. And this is happening out there. And Dannion, this is how it starts. A group of people, like I mean, I'm amazed the two of you are on this show with me right now. I feel honored to be, people that are listening. What a awesome show that they get to hear from two guys that are telling them exactly how to go spiritually make a difference in the world. And I feel like I have a responsibility to be a spiritual, abundant male today.
And by the way, Dannion, I do have designated 1 square mile for the veterans to make a veterans kins community. And of course, the most logical product for them to make is the hemp bed sheets for the veterans hospitals all over America.
And scrubs. You could start with scrubs. You know, for me, I'm in hospitals, you know, 30,000 hours at the bedside, and I work, and this is Vision 22, whereas Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Diego to Santa Barbara. Okay, so I'm very knowledgeable of how much staff is going on. And when I heard this piece of information, and I came over to the office so I could see the fabric. And, you know, you mostly think of hemp fabric as that stuff that, I won't talk bad about hippies, but you see people wear it, and it's not very well designed. But when I looked at this cloth, and I looked at the weave, and I looked at the count like you look at in the sheets, and when you look at this and you look at the blend, this is unbelievable product. And you don't cut down any trees. It's not cotton. It's a weed, and you have to buy it in China. And what I heard Barry, who Chris mentioned earlier, he said they grow hemp for the seeds for making nutritional supplements because of the amino and omega-3 structure within the hemp seeds. And they grow it literally up to the border of Canada and America. You can literally walk across from the hemp fields. But when he buys it, it costs 3 times as much when he gets it across the border than if he had grown it here.
That's amazing. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today on the show. Dannion Brinkley, author of Saved by the Light and the new upcoming. Can we pre-order that now, Dannion?
You can go to Amazon, 10 Things to Know Before You Go. And congratulations to Chris and Gary, and congratulations to you, Bruce, for you guys being true spiritualistic capitalists, and God bless Nevada.
All right.
Amen.
Las Vegas, baby. It is a very spiritual place. Thank you, Dannion. And Bruce, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have you on. You can go to hemp.com to learn more about this company, the stock trading symbol HEMP for Hemp Inc., the first publicly traded company all focused on bringing hemp products to consumers here in the United States and helping put our farmers back to work. I hope you go to bodhilotus.org and listen to our past shows and some of the great speakers we've had there. Greg, I don't even know where to begin on I'm going to be re-listening to this show.
Yes.
I'll tell you, if you're listening to the show, we have 10 times more people that listen over the next few weeks online. So when you listen to this, it's very simple. There's a little share button down there at the bottom because you're probably on Facebook or somewhere. Share it on your wall. Take action. Let your friends know that they can take a stand by standing up for hemp, and they can be part of the movement by being part of Hemp Inc.
You know, Chris, I went to several hemp fests and hemp cons there, talking with people coming in and out of them about industrial hemp, just asking them, hey, what do you know about industrial hemp? And probably 3/4 of them would turn my ear for the next 5 to 15 minutes, telling me all about the awesome things about industrial hemp. The other ones, within 30 seconds of telling them about industrial hemp, they're going, wow, yeah, I'll sign that petition.
Oh, that is awesome. That is, well, folks, it's just another amazing show here. I want to thank our sponsors for keeping us on the air. And like Dannion said, make sure when you hear commercials on here, for you, if you have your own business, know that Talkers Magazine has shown that a format and talk radio that consumers are 3 times more likely to shop with the advertisers they hear on the shows that they like. So another awesome week. Join us at bodhilotus.org. That's BODHI, like the Bodhi tree, Lotus, LOTUS, like the lotus flower, bodhilotus.org.
Let's be friends.
Yeah, let's stay in touch. Go to spreadpeace.org, get our newsletter, find out all the cool things that are happening all over the country with Spread Peace chapters. And most of all, don't forget to ask yourself, who can you help today?
Someday it's going to come. 'Cause out on the edge of darkness, there rides the peace train. Oh, peace train, take
come take me home again.